Hello everyone, welcome to the TheCloudCareers YouTube channel. In this session, I'm going to mention how can you utilize the best on AWS while at the same time taking the advantage of billing up to 90% of discount. Yes, Amazon is the first cloud provider which has introduced the concept of spot-based billing. Whenever you create any instance, if you mention that I would like to use a spot-based instance, Amazon, as per the availability and as per the current demand at that point of time, Amazon can offer you up to 90% of discount. But every business goes by takeaways and every business will have trade-off. What you want versus what you can afford. If you're ready to accept whatever Amazon has mentioned, Amazon is going to offer you 90% of the discount with the help of Spot. And Spot is going to be one of the serious business in the space of information technology. Everyone wants to save more. Everyone wants to make more money. And if you want to save more billing in your projects, how can you do that? And at the same time, you attend any interview, they'll ask you, or they are curious to see in your resume, what are the activities or the suggestions that were made by you in the organization that have benefited the organization with respect to the billing or financially? How can you make that possible? If you know AWS EC2 Spot or Compute Spot in AWS, you can save a lot. Okay, so let's get started. But before we proceed, we also want to make sure this Spot, can we use it on production servers? The straightforward answer is no. But if you design well the environment, you can also use this Spot servers on production. Amazon says that Spot servers are not meant to run the mission critical workloads. That means it's not meant to run the databases where state matters, where the data matters. Because Amazon can terminate the Spot instances at any time with or without notice. And whatever the Spot servers that you want goes by bidding. What exactly I meant by bidding, let's say. And how come Amazon can offer you that much huge discount? Okay, let me try to show you that. For example, I would like to create an instance. Okay, I would like to create an instance of T3 medium, which offers me some X amount of CPU. For example, I want to run a T3 medium, which is an instance type 24/7 per month. And if you just place a request, it's going to be on demand. Okay, by default, it's going to be on demand. So Amazon is not aware that you're going to place a request. So since it is a request that went on ad hoc, by default, the type of request that you made with Amazon EC2 is on demand. Obviously, it will be very costly. I'm gonna show you how it will work. Okay, how billing works in AWS. AWS. Just search for AWS billing calculator and search here. I would like to go with AWS billing calculator because if in your organization or if any business, whenever someone comes and asks you create a server or create a request, okay, create a server, or I want a Windows machine or I want a Linux machine with 8 CPUs and 32 GB of memory and 500 GB of disk, we don't directly go and provision. We'll see the estimate. Okay, we'll create an estimate saying if you want to run this particular server for these many months or these many days or these many months, it's going to cost you this much to the project. Are you okay? Is your application owner or the manager of the project is okay for this or not? As a platform, as a DevOps and cloud, it's your responsibility to give that estimate. Okay, so for example, I'll try to take this as Oregon. Okay, as you know that the billing varies from region to region as per the law of the land, as per the taxation of the particular place, and the living cost. All these metrics define what is the cost, and that's the reason in certain regions you see low cost and certain region you incur less cost and more cost. Okay, now I would like to look for EC2. EC2 stands for Elastic Cloud Compute because I would like to show you how much it costs you for a month if you go by on demand. And this is another important metric, shared tenancy. Remember this, I'm gonna talk almost 5 to 6 minutes on tenancy. Okay, this is one of the nice option. Okay, so scroll down all the way down. I'm interested about T3 medium. Okay, so this is an instance that offers X CPUs and X amount of memory. So let me try to show you that. Search by instance type. You can see the T3 medium is there. That's offering me 2 CPUs and 4 gigs of memory. Okay, in production, okay, or in any serious business, T3, T series are not supposed to use. T series are general purpose machines. Okay, here 3 stands for third generation hardware. So based on the business, based on the type of workload, whether it is memory intensive or CPU intensive, you need to use that. Okay, please watch the video till the end. I'm gonna show you a couple of options when you're raising a request. How can you say that this instance is supposed to be spot, which is going to give you up to 90% of discount? I know many of you are learning cloud and DevOps through various platforms, but if you follow this technique, I can guarantee you that you can get up to 90% of the discount. Okay, so please watch till the end. It's going to be short and interesting. Okay, so I have selected this, and if you go with on-demand instance and the usage is 100% and the utilization per month, and you can see this, it's gonna cost you $30 per month. Okay, $30 per month. So come here and try to on-demand, and if you go with on-demand, it's gonna cost you $31 a month. All right, but if you go with spot, what will be the billing? Let me try to show you that. I'm already inside the console, AWS EC2. I'm gonna select EC2 of my particular instance of my particular cloud service. And here in the left pane, you can see what was the cost. Okay, there is an option called as a spot request. Come here and select the spot request. And you can come here and calculate the, what do you say? Come here and try to look for spot request. I'm interested about T3 dot medium pricing history. Come here and select the pricing history and which availability zone. As I mentioned, based on the zone also things will vary, but I'm gonna go with instance type and I'm interested about T3 dot medium because this is the spot instance I would like to create, which offers me 2 CPUs and 4 gigs of memory. And if you look at this in the US West 1A, and if you look at this, it's costing you $0.0149, which is quite less. Okay, $0.0149. If you open the calculator, okay, into 24. So that means it's just costing you 3.56 into 30, which is around just $10. Okay, and that to come here and here in this case we got 66% discount. Okay, and if you go by spot, we're getting around $10 discount. I mean the $20 discount, almost 66%. Okay, and based on the type of instance, you can even get up to 90% of the discount. Okay, so straight away you have cut down 60%, 66% of the costing. Okay, that is the advantage. But how can Amazon is going to offer you that much huge discounts? If Amazon is offering you that much huge discount, why I shouldn't be taking that? Why everyone is not taking spot instance? Okay, there are a couple of points that needs to be understood. You need to understand a couple of points. How Amazon is offering that much huge discount? So to understand this point, you need to see this diagram. If you assume this as an Amazon data center or Amazon region where Amazon is having huge infrastructure, Amazon will be having huge number of servers, but not all of them would be utilized, may or may not be. Amazon keeping the existing customer workloads and the future demands in mind as per their analysis and as per the market analysis, they have certain set of infrastructure. What if 50 to 60% of the infrastructure is not utilized by any of the customers? What Amazon does is Amazon is going to offer you the leftover instances. For example, there are some customers called as customer A. So customer A, you're having workloads that are running on customer A, customer B. So right now, rest of the servers are not being used. So Amazon, what they does is they offer these workloads, okay, leftover workloads in the form of spot. For example, I have placed a request for T3 medium, which means 2 CPUs and 4 gigs of memory. What happens immediately? The moment you place a request, Amazon goes and checks where and all this guy needs a request, okay, in Oregon. So it goes and checks, and if there is a workload available, okay, resources available, that spot request that you have placed is going to fulfill and it's going to create a server. But there are some considerations. What if what if the existing customer A says, I want 100 servers at a time. So a lot of places you can see spot servers. Okay. Amazon, if if customers, existing customers, or the customers who are ready to pay more on demand instances, if they say, I don't want, I want 100 plus servers, and if Amazon is not having enough resources, what Amazon does is Amazon is gonna terminate your requests, okay, cancel these servers, and then give their high priority to these customers, because it offers you huge discount, but these customers are someone who are ready to pay more. Okay, and these guys are paying either on demand instances, or these guys would be using some capacity reservation which they have reserved. So Amazon has reserved for these customers, but since these customers are not using, you would be getting it. Okay, and that's the reason you are getting it for a huge discount. But whenever you're using spot, you need to consider a few points, and here are the pointers. So these are not meant for production-based workloads, but if you follow certain strategies, you can also utilize it in your production-based environment. How? Let me tell you. So points to be noted when using Spot. Spot servers are not meant for production-based workloads. Prod workloads. Because Amazon can terminate these instances at any time, but this is not 100% true. Okay, if you follow certain strategy, you can even make sure that you can utilize on production environment. And AWS, based on the capacity, spots requests can be terminated at any time. Okay, and this billing is based on hours, number of hours. Okay, every time you place a request, that doesn't mean that Amazon is going to guarantee you that your request is going to be fulfilled. If you place a spot request, if Amazon is having enough resources, then your resource or the request is going to be fulfilled. If not, your request stays in the pending state. Okay, AWS based on the capacity, spot requests can be terminated at any time. And third important thing is, do not host DB based workloads. Okay, do not run databases, okay, workloads on Spot. Okay, so these are the takeaways. Amazon may or may not give you notice, and it can terminate the server at any time. Okay, so these are absolutely meant for sandbox, not even dev. Sandbox is like a playground environment in the business. That means even if it is terminated, there shouldn't be no loss. But if you watch the video till the end of the training, I'm gonna show you a couple of tips how in your interview you can even say that in your business that you have implemented this. Okay, so you can say that I have implemented Spot even in production with the help of one strategy that I'm going to demonstrate. So you have to watch the video till the end. Please watch the video till the end to have that understand. So before that, I would like to go ahead and I would like to place a request. So fundamentally, how you are creating is you are placing a request, Spot request, and this request will go to the Amazon bidding pool. Okay, Amazon bidding pool. So you know bidding, right? Whoever quotes more, their request will be fulfilled first. Okay, so since Amazon is offering you huge billing discount, everyone wants that. So what Amazon does, whatever the request you place, whoever quotes high, their request will be fulfilled. Okay, and if your request is fulfilled, then you will get the server. If not, you won't get the server. Okay, you can even, Amazon says that this is the base price if you want this, and this is the maximum that you can quote. Okay, and if you don't quote anything, Amazon considers that this guy is ready to pay highest. Okay, let me show you that. Okay, and right after this, I'm gonna show you how you can even use this spot servers in your production as well. So come here, and just like how you create any other instance, just launch the instance in the launch instance tab, and just say this is a spot server, and then just choose any image. For the demonstration purpose, I am choosing Ubuntu 22, and instance type I'm going with T3.medium or T3.micro. Anything is fine. And here I'm gonna mention the key pair because I do not have, I have one key as demo key. Done. And here comes the option. Don't touch any other option. It's your choice whether you wanna go with GP2 or GP3. Now scroll down all the way down. In the advanced section, there is an option called as spot. Scroll down. Or if you feel a complexity, just say spot. You can see that. Select the spot instance. And point to be noted, this is very important point. Till 2022, okay, till 2022, there was no option of stop or shutdown. So, when you create a server, you always have an option to stop the server, right? But till 2022, there was no option, okay, for stop or shutdown the server if it's a spot. Okay, but from last 1 year or 1.5 years, Amazon even changed this option. Okay, Amazon even offering the option to shut down the machine, and Amazon also guarantees you how long this machine has to be there. Okay, so while placing a request itself, you can mention that. But a lot of people, when they take the interview, they wouldn't be knowing this option. But if someone asks you, can you shut down the spot instance, say that right now, from last 1.5 years, Amazon has introduced an option where you can even shut down an instance. Okay, but that is not a default option. You need to select that. Okay, please ensure you select that. If not, interviewer will think that you don't know if he is not updated. So come here and try to select the spot instance, and there is an option called as customize spot instance option. Select this option, and here we have an option to quote the price. I didn't mention any maximum price because uh, I want this instance at any point of time, at any cost I want it, and that's the reason I am not specifying the time. Okay, specifying the price. If you want to specify the price, you can mention, okay, I'm ready to pay 0.05. Okay, if no one quotes behind this price, I'll be the first person who gets this request. For example, I want this at any cost. Okay, I would say the 0.0013 is the price that I'm quoting. If someone says 0.04, people who quote more are the first people or the first set of requests who gets this request. Okay, this is how bidding works. But I do not want to go with bidding. I just want to go with, I'm okay to pay the maximum, but I should get my request provision. Okay, and this is the option that I was saying, request type. Request type, one time or persistent. If you select the instance type as one time request, okay, if your request type is one time, if your request type is one time, if your spot request type is one time, okay, you won't get no shutdown option. And if AWS terminates, since it's gone forever, it's gone, and the request is not going to provision one more. Okay, so as I mentioned in the beginning of the session, Amazon, if it is a spot with or without notice, can terminate the instance. But if you select the instance as one time, if Amazon terminates the server, you won't get a new server. But if the request is persistent, you get a shutdown option. That means whenever you want to shut down, you can shut down the machine. If it is one time, you won't get the shutdown option. If it is persistent, you get the shutdown option. And at the same time, if Amazon terminates your server because of any reason, Amazon terminates your server because of the capacity issues. Okay, so if Amazon has the resources available, it's going to provision one more server for you. You don't have to do that. So the server will be terminated, and again, it's going to provision a brand new server for you. But again, there will be loss of data. But this is the difference. Okay, if it is persistent, then only you'll get an option of shutdown. And at the same time, if Amazon terminates the server because of any reason, you'll get a new server, not immediately, based on the capacity availability at Amazon. Okay, so to demonstrate, I would like to go with a persistent request. When you select it as a persistent request, if you cancel, if you terminate the server, not just Amazon, even if you terminate the request, even if you terminate the server, that is a spot server, after some time, Amazon assumes that it has or someone else has destroyed it, and it creates one more for you. Okay, and that's the reason a lot of people, when they say that I'm terminating the server, but automatically it is creating, is my account hacked? No, it's not hacked, because you're canceling a server, but it's created by a spot request, and that's the reason your spot request is creating one more. Okay, and you also need to ensure whenever you're selecting a persistent, the interruption behavior should be shut down. If you select this option as shutdown, stop, then only you'll get the shutdown option. And another important option that I want to talk is tenancy. Tenancy. By default, it is a shared tenancy. What do you mean by that? So for example, there is a you placed a spot request, and Amazon has created your server in in a in one server, in a physical server. So for example, this is what Amazon has created a server for you. For example, Amazon has created a server for you, and this is catalog. For example, this is user server. Okay, and it is running some XYZ workloads, and this server belongs to customer A. And if you have selected the tenancy of the server as shared, if some other customers who wants to run his application, and he is a customer B, and he is also running some other server called as a pay server, pay service, his servers can also be provisioned on the top of the same server. Amazon will not guarantee you that the servers that are provisioned on this physical machine is not just for you. Okay, and this is called as a shared hardware model. Okay, and this is true if that this is the default option, and at the same time, if you do not want this behavior, so there are certain companies, as per the organization policies, they do not have to run their workloads on shared hardware. Shared hardware is nothing but this: on the physical machine, other customer workloads or other AWS account workloads can also be hosted. But Amazon guarantees you this customer or this server cannot see the data that is hosted on this, and this cannot see the data that is hosted on this. And that is proved. Okay. But if the complaints of the organization says that we should not run our workloads on the servers where other customer workloads are running, then in that case, we can go with something called as dedicated. If you go with this option, all the workloads of X customer will only run on this particular hardware. For example, if this is for customer X, okay, for example, what will happen when you have selected the, okay, when you have selected the instance as dedicated, run a dedicated instance, okay, that means all the instances of your organization or all the workloads of your organization would only be running on this particular machine. Other customer workloads won't be running. Okay, but when compared to the shared, the because Amazon is giving you the entire hardware, whether you use or not is secondary, but when compared to this, these instances would be little expensive. Why? Because Amazon has promised you that wherever the machines that you are running, other customer workloads are not going to run. So obviously they're gonna charge you little extra, not little more. Okay, but in almost all the places, wherever you see, if it is a serious business, you should be able to see the workloads like this. Okay, and this type of tenancy is called as the dedicated tenancy, where all the workloads of your project, of your workload, would be running on the instances, which is nothing but a physical hardware, where only the servers that are related to that particular account would be running, not other accounts or not other customer workloads would be running. This is called as a dedicated. Okay, this option is called as a tenancy. Okay, so tenancy offers you the better discount if you say, I don't care wherever my server runs. If you care, I want my instances should be run on an instance where other customer workload shouldn't be running, then you go with dedicated instance. But there is also another option called as a dedicated host. Okay, that means you will get the entire machine. You get the entire physical server, and on the top of the physical server, only your instance would be running up, not anything else, not other instances of your account itself. You get the entire host. Okay, but yeah, ensure you select whatever you want, but when you're learning something, when you're practicing something, you do not have to go with a dedicated host or dedicated. By default, shared is the option. Please go with that. Okay, and please be mindful, the moment you select dedicated instance or dedicated host, it's going to charge you huge. So please be mindful when selecting this option. Now I have selected this option, and then I'm going to say launch the instance. And here you have another option called as a user data. Okay, this is like a startup script. For example, I want a file to be created. Hi, learn AWS in home in root. Okay, aws.txt. So this file will be created as a part of the startup. User data is like a startup. So whenever you want some actions to be done as a part of the system startup, we'll select this option. Okay, but yeah, I do not want it. So launch the instance. Now your instance is going to be. Now, once the instance is launched, okay, once the instance is launched, do not terminate it just like how you terminate manually, because the moment you select terminate option, yes, the server is going to be terminated. But at the same time, okay, this server is not something you created. Okay, on-demand instances are something you are creating, but the spot servers are not something you are creating. You are creating a spot request. You can come here and see in the spot request. You are placing a request, and the request ID is this, and this request is placing the instance provisioning request, and that's the reason you can see the status has fulfilled. Sometimes during the month of November, December, Jan, where a lot of mission critical workloads operate at scale, you might encounter that the status has not fulfilled. Instead, you see the status as pending. That means your request is not fulfilled. Okay, if you come here and if you cancel the request, okay, the request will be terminated, the server will be terminated, but it's going to come up one more time. Okay, and if you no longer need that, the way how you terminate the instance is come to the spot request. First, you don't want this, select this instance ID, go to the spot request, and right now I only have one. I can easily select it. What if you're having 20, 30, it's very difficult to understand. So that's the reason I copied the instance ID and pasted it. I know that this instance is provisioned by this request. Then you need to say, I would like to cancel this request. Okay, cancel the request. Default option is terminate instance. If you cancel the request, the instances that are associated with this will also be terminated. You select this, it will be terminated. This is how you can create an instance using a smart option and at the same time delete and can avail up to 90% of discount. But one of the most important thing I was keep on saying, how in production can you create it? So let me tell you that. So typically you can apply a rule called as 70-30 principle. How can you apply it in production? Okay, so this is one of the latest technique that most of the people, most of the serious people wants to implement. For example, if you're having a pool of servers, for example, you come here and you're having a, this is your project, and within your project, this is the rule. You're having a payment-based application. Let me try to change the background color. Yes, you're having a payment application, and the rule of thumb is, so you have payment servers should be running, 30 servers should be running, or 10 servers should be running. These are the servers which helps you in payment processing. Now, what you can do is, rather than creating all the 10 as spot servers, what you can also do is the same payment application. Okay, the same payment application. You can create few of them, okay, based on the policy that you have taken. For example, if you have taken 70-30, this is one of the most standard principle, 70-30. That means 70% of the workloads are 70% of the workloads are on demand or reserved, and rest of the 30% of the workloads are spot. Okay, because of any reason, if Amazon terminates this 30% of the request, still your system will operate, okay, at 70%. Okay, but if you want to increase it, and if you are experiencing it, you can also place a mechanism called as auto scaling to increase these workloads. Okay, so for example, you are having 7 payment servers. Okay, for example, you are having 10, you are having an application called as payment that is running on 10 particular servers. So in production, you can also apply a 70-30 principle. That means 70% of the workloads are on demand. That means they would be run at any cost because you're paying more. Or typically in organizations, we go with reserved instances where you commit Amazon that you're going to use it. So obviously you'll get better discount. And if you want further discount, you can also apply this strategy. So because of any reason, because of Amazon capacity issues, if even if Amazon terminates these instances, still your business will work because still 70% of the workloads are there. That means here 100%, if you get 100 requests, if you need 10 servers, but not all the time you get the maximum 100 requests, right? You build the infrastructure keeping the maximum limits in mind. Okay. And at the same time, we design the things in such a way, okay, whenever these guys experience 60+% of the workload, increase the number of instances. Okay. Likewise, you can design the infrastructure. Okay. This is one of the most classic approach and classic implementation where people are implementing spot based workloads, even in the prod, non-prod based workloads. Okay. So you should not go beyond 30 or 35%. So you can keep up to 30% of the workloads. So earlier, if you're getting 100 rupees bill, now you can get 70% billing. Okay. Still you have reduced 30%, which is huge. Okay. That's about spot and tenancy. If you like the video, please hit a like button. That motivates me further. And in the next video, I'm gonna come up with something more interesting on EC2. If you like the content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. And if you like the content and if you like any particular option that you are unaware on EC2, please comment it. I'll be happy to respond you back. Okay, thank you. Signing off.